welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a microscope to your fitness routine and answering a question that plagues pretty much everyone who works out. We're going to break down the exact, science-backed strategies of nutrient timing to help you systematically optimize your performance, your recovery, and of course, your muscle growth. We're looking at the comprehensive position stand from the International Society of Sports Nutrition, and we're distilling literally hundreds of rigorous studies into the ultimate hierarchy of gains. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this, because we've all heard it, right? You finish a heavy lifting session, and suddenly this imaginary clock in your head starts ticking. You've got exactly 30 minutes to chug a protein shake, or your entire workout was just completely wasted. Well, we have to ask the hard question here. Is this notorious post-workout anabolic window a concrete scientific fact, or is it just an old gym myth perpetuated by supplement marketing? Today, we're using rigorous data to finally put this idea to rest.
Here is our visual roadmap for today's explainer. First, what is nutrient timing? Second, mastering carbohydrate fueling. Third, the truth about protein. Fourth, nighttime feeding strategies. And fifth, some practical takeaways you can use today.
Starting with Section 1. What is nutrient timing, and how do we build the foundation?
According to the experts at the ISSN, nutrient timing isn't just about grabbing a snack whenever your stomach rumbles. No, it's the methodical planning and eating of whole foods, fortified foods, and dietary supplements. And the goals here are highly specific: to enhance recovery, to augment muscle protein synthesis, which, is the physiological process of how your muscles actually grow, and even improve your overall mood following intense exercise. So we're talking about a highly calculated strategy here, not just random snack.
But look, before we get lost in the weeds of minutes and hours, we have to establish the absolute golden rule. Total daily intake matters most. This is the true foundation of your hierarchy of gains. If you aren't eating enough total calories, or you're failing to hit your baseline daily macronutrient needs, honestly, all the precise timing in the world isn't going to save you. Timing is merely a secondary optimization tool. Think of it as the ultimate fine-tuning mechanism built on top of a really solid, consistent daily diet.
Moving right along to Section 2, mastering carbohydrate fueling, focusing on fueling and replenishing. This timeline breaks down your carbohydrate needs perfectly. I want you to think of your body kind of like a high-performance vehicle. Pre-exercise, especially in those hours leading up to a tough event, you want to top off the tank with 1 to 4 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. Then, during extended exercise, we're talking intense endurance bouts lasting over 60 to 70 minutes, you need to keep that engine running by consuming 30 to 60 grams per hour. And post-exercise, well, if you have another grueling session coming up in less than 4 hours, you absolutely require rapid recovery. That means an aggressive refeeding of 1.2 grams per kilogram per hour to swiftly restore those depleted muscle glycogen stores.
And I want to pause for a second and be incredibly clear here. These exact dosages aren't just random guesses. They definitely aren't bro science passed down in locker rooms. These guidelines are directly backed by the rigorous, peer-reviewed analysis of the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. They've analyzed decades of sports science to find the precise numbers that maximize human output, so you can really trust the data.
Let's jump into Section 3, the truth about protein. It's all about pacing over panic.
So, let's circle back to that mythical 30-minute window. When researchers actually set up studies to directly compare pre-workout protein ingestion versus post-workout protein ingestion, the results completely flipped the script. The conclusion? The timing here is practically equal. Whether you consume your protein immediately before you lift or immediately after, your muscle protein synthesis rates increase in a remarkably similar way. The critical factor is simply ensuring you meet your daily total requirements. Your muscles actually remain sensitized to protein for at least 24 hours after a resistance training bout. So there is absolutely no need to panic if you don't instantly chug a shake the exact second you drop the dumbbells.
Notice this specific target right here, 20 to 40 grams. This is the scientifically proven sweet spot dosage of high-quality protein. Ingesting this exact amount is what it actually takes to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis in a single meal. Taking in much less might not fully trigger the muscle-building response you're looking for, while taking in vastly more in one giant sitting doesn't necessarily mean you're going to build more muscle in that moment. You see, your body can really only use so much at one time for anabolism.
Which brings us to a brilliantly effective concept called the protein pacing model. Instead of gorging on one massive protein-heavy dinner at the very end of the day,
The data shows that you should break your intake down into consistent chunks. You want to consume that optimal 20 to 40 gram dose of high-quality protein every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. You also want to ensure each of those doses contains about 10 to 12 grams of essential amino acids. Studies demonstrate that this methodical pacing creates a sustained anabolic environment, and it positively impacts your overall body composition far better than skewed, irregular eating patterns. It's not just about what you eat, it's about how you distribute it.
All right, Section 4, Nighttime Feeding Strategies. This right here is the secret weapon for gains.
The crucial point we're looking at here is hitting 30 to 40 grams. But we aren't just talking about any protein, we are talking specifically about casein protein. For years, diet culture has told us that eating anything right before bed is a terrible, terrible idea. But the science tells a completely different, highly advantageous story when it comes to muscle recovery.
Let's completely debunk the myth that eating before bed automatically makes you fat. If you consume 30 to 40 grams of slow-digesting casein protein about 30 minutes prior to sleep, you unlock some truly incredible benefits. It acutely increases overnight muscle protein synthesis, effectively turning your 8 hours of sleep into a prime muscle-building window. Amazingly, it even boosts your morning resting metabolic rate. And to put the final nail in the coffin of that old myth, rigorous microdialysis studies show this specific intervention does not negatively influence lipolysis. That means it doesn't make you store fat overnight. It literally just helps you build lean muscle and recover while you dream. How cool is that?
Finally, Section 5, Practical Takeaways. Let's build your scientific blueprint.
We can take hundreds of pages of complex research and distill it down into 3 simple, actionable daily steps. Step 1, focus on the big picture first and hit your total daily protein goal, which is generally 1.4 to 2.0 grams per kilogram of body weight. Step 2, don't eat it all at once. Utilize protein pacing by taking in those 20 to 40 gram doses every 3 to 4 hours. And Step 3, maximize your overnight recovery by consuming 30 to 40 grams of casein protein right before you go to sleep.
Which leaves us with one final, very important question to consider today. Are you going to keep nervously sprinting to your gym bag to chase a mythical 30-minute anabolic window? Or will you use this science to intelligently build your own hierarchy of gains? The evidence is all right here. The path forward is clear, and the rest is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, keep applying the science, and I'll catch you next time.